Have you ever wondered why your legs feel heavier, even though you're eating healthy and staying active? Why do stairs feel steeper, and getting up from a chair takes just a bit more effort than before? Could it really be just age, or is something else quietly draining your strength every day? I'm Dr. Sarah Bennett. I've spent over 20 years working with older adults, and what I've discovered might surprise you. Some of the fruits we trust the most, those we've been told are good for you, might actually be working against your legs. Let's take a closer look at the 7 worst fruits for seniors over 60 and why they could be weakening your legs, one bite at a time. Pineapple may affect blood vessels and joints. When I was growing up, pineapple was always seen as something special, bright, sweet, and full of sunshine. My grandmother used to keep a bowl of fresh pineapple on the kitchen table every summer. We believed it helped with digestion and inflammation, and for younger bodies that may be true. But as we get older, things change. What once was healing may now be quietly hurting us. Let's talk about pineapple and why it might be one of the worst fruits for your leg strength after 60. Pineapple contains something called bromelain. It's an enzyme often praised for its anti-inflammatory effects. But in seniors, that same compound can become a problem, especially if you're taking medications. Bromelain can interfere with blood thinners, making them either too strong or not effective enough. If you're on medication for your heart, circulation, or arthritis, this matters. Then there's the sugar. Pineapple is packed with natural sugars that enter your bloodstream quickly. For someone over 60, this can be dangerous. Our blood vessels, especially the tiny ones in our legs and feet, become more fragile with age. A sudden spike in blood sugar can damage those small vessels. Over time, this slows circulation. Your legs get less oxygen, less support. You might notice that it's harder to walk up a few stairs, or your calves feel heavy after only a short walk. I've had patients tell me, "Dr. Bennett, I don't understand why my knees are stiff. I've been eating pineapple every morning with breakfast." They're surprised when I tell them the fruit may be part of the problem. And it's not just the sugar. Pineapple is highly acidic. That acidity might seem harmless, but if you already have joint pain, especially from arthritis, it's like pouring lemon juice on a small cut. It stings. It aggravates the inflammation already living in your knees, hips, and ankles. Some people say their legs feel heavier after eating pineapple. Others describe a dull ache that doesn't go away. I believe these little signs matter. They're your body's quiet way of asking for change. You don't have to remove pineapple completely, but if you've noticed swelling in your ankles, pain in your knees, or fatigue in your legs after eating it, listen to your body. At this stage of life, what you eat has a powerful effect on how you move, how you feel, and how strong your legs remain. We've been taught to trust fruit, but not all fruits serve us well after 60. Pineapple may look like sunshine on your plate, but inside, it can carry hidden storms. Let's move on to the next fruit you may want to think twice about. Bananas spike blood sugar and cause water retention. I used to recommend bananas all the time. They're easy to eat, full of potassium, and seem like a safe, natural choice, especially for older adults. I remember watching my father slice one into his cereal every morning, believing it gave him energy for the day. But as I've worked more with patients over 60, I've come to see a different story. Bananas might not be the friendly fruit we think they are, at least not for your legs. Let's start with what bananas are made of. They're soft, sweet, and packed with fast-digesting carbohydrates. That's exactly what makes them a problem. As we age, our bodies process sugar differently. The same banana that gave us a little boost when we were 30 can now cause a sudden surge in blood sugar. These blood sugar spikes aren't just about diabetes. They hurt circulation too. The small blood vessels in your legs, those responsible for bringing oxygen and nutrients to your muscles, start to suffer. That's when the heaviness begins. You take a walk and notice your legs feel tired too soon. Your calves feel tight. Your knees stiffen after standing for just a few minutes. It's subtle, but it builds up. I once had a patient named Harold, 72 years old. He told me he had been eating 2 bananas a day because he thought they helped prevent cramps. But his ankles had been swelling, and his legs felt heavy by the afternoon. We looked at his diet. made some simple changes, including cutting back on banana sand within 2 weeks. He felt lighter, more stable, more himself. Bananas also encourage water retention. This surprises many people. The fruit seems harmless. But for seniors, especially those with heart conditions, bananas can quietly cause the body to hold on to excess fluid. That leads to swelling in the feet, ankles, and lower legs. You might feel puffy, slow, or even short of breath if the retention is significant. If you've been waking up with stiff legs or ending your day with sore feet, think about the fruit on your plate. That healthy-looking banana might not be helping your legs stay strong. It might be doing the opposite. This doesn't mean you can never eat bananas again, but if you're struggling with circulation, swelling, or leg fatigue, it's time to consider cutting back. Your body changes with age, and your food choices should change with it. Not all fruit supports your strength after 60. Some, like bananas, may quietly wear your legs down, one morning at a time. Let's continue. The next fruit is small, sweet, and easy to snack on, but its effect on your joints may surprise you. Grapes can trigger joint pain and chronic inflammation. Grapes are often seen as the perfect little snack. They're small, juicy, easy to pop into your mouth. They look so innocent, like nature's candy. I've met many patients who keep a bowl of grapes nearby throughout the day, believing they're choosing something heart-healthy. But when it comes to your joints and leg strength, grapes may be silently working against you. Let me explain why. Grapes are high in fructose, natural sugar that, in small amounts, might seem harmless. But for people over 60, that sugar doesn't always get processed the same way it did years ago. As we age, our metabolism slows. The body has a harder time breaking down certain sugars, and in the case of fructose, the liver converts it into uric acid. That's where the problem begins. Too much uric acid builds up in the joints. It settles in places like your big toe, your knees, or your ankles. I've had patients describe it as a burning pain that comes and goes, especially at night. Some feel stiffness in their legs in the morning. Others have trouble walking for more than a few minutes without feeling a deep, dull ache. One woman I saw, Linda, was 68. She enjoyed a bowl of grapes every evening while watching the news. She thought she was making a smart, healthy choice. But over time, she developed chronic pain in her feet and swelling in her knees. Once we connected the dots and removed grapes from her routine, her symptoms improved within weeks. It was a quiet shift, but it changed her life. The thing is, grapes are easy to overeat. They're small, they're sweet. You think you've had just a few, but by the end of the day, you've eaten 2 or 3 cups. That's a lot of fructose. A lot of stress on your joints. And for someone already dealing with inflammation or reduced circulation, it's too much. Inflammation from high uric acid isn't always sharp or sudden. Sometimes it builds slowly, a little more stiffness each week, a little more pain when climbing stairs. Eventually, you stop doing the things you love: gardening, walking the dog, dancing with your spouse, because your legs just won't keep up. If your legs have been feeling heavier or your joints seem more swollen than usual, take a closer look at your fruit bowl. Grapes might be part of the problem. Not all fruits are created equal after 60. Some, like grapes, may quietly take away your comfort, your mobility, and your strength. Let's move on. The next fruit is cool, refreshing, and full of water, but its effect on your legs might not be as gentle as it seems. Watermelon causes blood sugar swings. Watermelon brings back memories of summer picnics, long afternoons under the sun, and that crisp, refreshing first bite. It feels light, harmless, and full of water. For many of my older patients, watermelon is a go-to snack during the warmer months. But while it seems innocent, this fruit can have a hidden impact on your legs, especially if you're over 60. Let's take a closer look. Watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it raises your blood sugar quickly after you eat it. The body sees it almost like candy. For younger people, this might not be a big deal. But as we age, our ability to regulate blood sugar becomes weaker. Insulin doesn't respond as quickly. Sugar lingers in the bloodstream longer. That extra sugar inflames your system, especially in areas already under stress like your legs. One of my patients, John, told me something that stuck with me. He said, "Dr. Bennett, I eat clean, I walk every day, but after lunch, my legs always feel tired like I'm walking through water." We reviewed his meals. Every afternoon, he had 2 or 3 slices of watermelon. He thought it was keeping him hydrated. But once he removed it from his routine, the heaviness in his legs improved. When blood sugar spikes from watermelon, circulation suffers. The tiny vessels that bring blood to your calves, knees, and ankles don't respond well to that sudden sugar rush. Inflammation follows. The result? Tired legs, aching joints, that dull fatigue you feel after a short walk. And for some, climbing stairs starts to feel like hiking a hill. The tricky part is that watermelon doesn't taste overwhelmingly sweet. It feels watery and mild. That's why it's easy to eat more than you realize. 1 slice becomes 3. You're not just having a snack, you're flooding your system with sugar. And the legs, already working hard to keep you stable, begin to show signs of strain. I'm not saying watermelon is bad for everyone, but if you've noticed swelling in your ankles, stiffness in your knees, or general weakness in your lower body, take a moment to reflect. That refreshing fruit might not be helping your strength the way you hoped. In this stage of life, the smallest choices make the biggest difference. Watermelon may feel like a harmless habit, but for many seniors, it adds one more layer of stress to legs that are already carrying too much. Let's keep going. The next fruit is bright, full of vitamin C, and often praised for supporting the immune system, but it may be quietly irritating your joints every day. Oranges may irritate your joints. Oranges have long been a symbol of health. Bright, fragrant, and full of vitamin C, they often find a place on our breakfast tables. For years, I believed they were one of the safest choices for older adults. But as time passed, and as I listened more closely to my patients, I started to notice a pattern that deserves our attention. Oranges might be doing more harm than good for your joints, especially after 60. Let's talk about why. While vitamin C supports the immune system, oranges are also rich in citric acid and natural sugars. These 2 components, acid and sugar, may quietly irritate aging joints. And for people already living with arthritis or joint degeneration, the effects can feel more intense. I remember a gentleman named Robert. He was 74 and proud of his healthy diet. Every morning, he had a glass of fresh orange juice. But he kept telling me that his hips felt tight after sitting, and his knees didn't bend like they used to. He assumed it was age. But when we took a closer look, we found that the acidity and sugar from those daily oranges might have been contributing to his pain. Citric acid doesn't just affect your stomach. It enters the bloodstream and can reach the soft tissues around the joints. For someone with inflammation already present, it acts like fuel on a smoldering fire. The result? More stiffness in the knees, more swelling around the ankles, more soreness after just a short walk. The natural sugars in oranges can also raise blood sugar levels. Just like watermelon or bananas, this sudden rise affects circulation. Over time, that means less blood flow to the legs and joints and more pain during everyday movements. Some of my patients report feeling fine right after eating an orange, but by afternoon they notice a dull ache in their legs or a sharp pinch in the hips when standing up. That's the quiet effect citrus can have on the body. It sneaks in, day by day, until you find yourself moving less because it simply doesn't feel good anymore. If your joints feel tighter than they used to, if getting out of bed is slower, or if walking feels heavier than it should, think about what you've been eating. A simple orange, though refreshing, may be adding to your discomfort. After 60, every choice matters. We don't just want to feel full, we want to feel free. Free to move, to walk, to enjoy the day without pain. And sometimes, that means rethinking even the most trusted foods. Now let's keep going. The next fruit might look clean, crisp, and healthy, but what's hiding inside could be quietly draining your strength. Green apples may cause mild joint pain. Green apples are often seen as the smarter choice. They're not as sweet as red apples, so many people assume they're better for blood sugar and easier on the body. I've had countless patients tell me, "Dr. Bennett, I've switched to green apples because they're healthy." And on the surface, that makes sense. But for seniors over 60, especially those dealing with weak circulation or joint discomfort, green apples can carry hidden risks. Let's talk about what's inside that crisp bite. Green apples contain something called malic acid. It gives them their sharp, tart flavor. For younger people, that acid might not cause much trouble. But as we age, the lining of our stomach and the tissues around our joints become more sensitive. Malic acid can irritate soft tissue, especially in the hips, knees, and lower legs. Over time, this irritation can lead to a dull, nagging discomfort, something that shows up when walking, standing, or even resting at night. I once spoke with a woman named Carol. She was 70 and very careful about what she ate. Every afternoon, she'd slice up a green apple and enjoy it as a snack. But she kept noticing tightness in her calves and occasional cramping at night. She chalked it up to age or dehydration. But when we removed the green apples for a few weeks, the tightness faded. It wasn't dramatic, it was subtle, but real. Green apples also contain natural sugars less than other apples, yes, but still enough to cause small spikes in blood sugar. For someone with slower circulation or reduced insulin response, even small spikes can matter. When blood sugar rises, inflammation tends to follow. And for joints already struggling with stiffness or wear and tear, that inflammation can make the pain worse. It's the combination that causes concern: the malic acid that irritates soft tissues and the sugar that quietly disrupts circulation. Neither is overwhelming on its own. But together, they can slowly chip away at comfort, especially in the legs. If you've noticed that your legs feel heavier than they should, if you've felt cramps that seem to have no clear cause, or if your knees feel stiffer after a walk around the block, green apples may be playing a role. It doesn't mean they're bad for everyone, but in this stage of life, we need to be more careful. What once helped us stay fit might now be standing in the way of strength and mobility. Let's move on. The next fruit is soft, sweet, and tropical, but it may be delivering more sugar than your joints and legs can handle. Mangoes contain high natural sugar levels. Mangoes are often seen as a tropical treat. They're soft, juicy, and so easy to enjoy, especially on warm days. I've had many patients tell me that a few slices of mango help brighten their afternoon. And I understand why. It tastes like nature's candy. But if you're over 60, that sweetness may come at a quiet cost, especially to your legs and joints. Mangoes are one of the fruits with the highest levels of natural sugar. For a younger person with a fast metabolism, that sugar is used quickly. But in seniors, the story is different. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at managing blood sugar. Insulin response slows. Circulation becomes weaker. The result? A single serving of mango can spike blood sugar faster than you think. And with every spike, inflammation follows. I remember a patient named James. He was 67 and active, but complained of a dull pain in his knees and a strange tingling in his feet. We talked about his diet, and he mentioned that mango was his favorite fruit, had it almost every evening. We made just one change. He paused the mango for 3 weeks. The tingling eased. His knees felt lighter. That one shift made a difference. Here's what happens inside your body. The sugar in mango floods your bloodstream quickly. The delicate blood vessels in your legs and feet struggle to keep up. Circulation slows. Inflammation quietly builds around the joints. You may not notice it right away, but over time, you might feel that your legs are heavier, that your steps are slower, or that your joints are stiffer in the evening. For some people, the change is subtle. just a bit of extra pressure in the ankles or an ache when walking up the stairs. For others, it can lead to a sharper pain or numbness in the toes. These are all signs that your body may be reacting to sugar, not the kind from candy or soda, but from fruit you thought was helping. It's important to understand this. Natural sugar is still sugar, and mango carries a lot of it. If you've been struggling with joint pain, leg fatigue, or strange sensations in your lower body, consider how often mango shows up in your diet. You don't need to fear fruit, but you do need to be selective. Your legs carry you through life. They deserve the best support you can give, and that begins with what you put on your plate. Now that we've looked at the fruits that may quietly weaken your legs, it's time to shift the focus. Let's talk about the fruits that do the opposite, the ones that support circulation, reduce inflammation, and help your legs stay strong. Better fruit choices for seniors. After everything we've explored, the hidden sugars, the acids, the subtle aches and stiffness, it's time to shift the focus. Because the truth is, not all fruit is bad for you. In fact, the right fruits can help you move better, feel lighter, and even ease the strain on your legs. Let's talk about the fruits that work with your body, not against it. Berries are at the top of that list. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries may be small, but they're packed with power. They're low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and gentle on your blood sugar. Most importantly, they help reduce inflammation. I've seen many patients feel more energized in their legs after swapping out high-sugar fruits for a small bowl of mixed berries each morning. It's a quiet change that adds up over time. Cherries are another wonderful choice, especially for those dealing with joint pain. They help lower uric acid in the body. That means less stiffness, fewer flare-ups, and more comfortable movement. Even just a handful of cherries a few times a week can make a noticeable difference. Then there's avocado. Yes, it's technically a fruit, and for your joints, it may be one of the best. Avocados are full of healthy fats that cushion the joints, reduce inflammation, and help your body absorb nutrients better. I often tell my patients, if your knees had a favorite food, it might be avocado. Papaya is another fruit that deserves a place on your plate. It's soft, easy to digest, and gentle on the stomach. It contains natural enzymes that support digestion and calm inflammation from the inside out. I've had older patients with digestive issues feel real relief after adding papaya to their diet a few times a week. Pears are also a great option, especially when paired with a little protein. A pear with a slice of turkey or a small handful of almonds can give you lasting energy without the sugar crash. Pears don't spike blood sugar the way some fruits do. They're smooth, mild, and kind to tired joints. These fruits aren't just safer, they're healing. They support circulation. They soothe inflammation. They help you stay on your feet longer, with less pain and more freedom. At this stage of life, every bite matters. You deserve to feel strong, to wake up without stiffness, to walk across the room without discomfort. And it starts with simple, smart choices like choosing fruits that love your body back. So now that we've uncovered the worst fruits for seniors' leg strength and introduced the ones that help, what will you choose to put on your plate tomorrow?